Holy cow. My God.
In heaven.
Amazing. Hey. Just kidding. It was all right. No, it was amazing. Not only does this embarrassingly put the past, few...
I would say all the way back to Matthew Broderick.
All the American Godzilla movies within the last few decades
combined
got squashed in this. This movie embarrassingly showed them up.
Showed them how to do it.
Let's not even just say the Godzilla movies that America has made. The last few years of American cinema, this movie put all those to shame. So good. What was the biggest flaw in the American ones? The humans. The humans were the worst part. You're like, get to the Godzilla part. It slowly got worse until we got King Kong vs. Godzilla. It was just horribly, just bad and disgusting. The budget of this movie was $15 million.
Guarantee you it's got that much back right now.
And average American movies are in the hundreds of millions, and we've seen in the past few years of like the movie like The Flash or Indiana Jones where they get $300 million and you watch it and you go, where did the money go? Here they utilized everything. Sure, there were some aspects of Godzilla that looked a little robotic and stuff. Maybe they were just paying homage to the original, which they did. This is the original company.
It doesn't look terribly different from ours.
Right.
Except this movement.
Yeah. He's like as stiff as a board. That's probably the only thing.
And his arms are too, like, I can't stand the massive feet and the tiny little
giant
T-Rex
giant
arms.
hips in his butt. But still looked really good. That's probably my only complaint. And even then, it's not even that big of a deal. This is going down to basics. And we're going post-World War II Japan.
Beautiful time.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's a set piece. The set pieces were amazing.
Beautiful set, Jude, like in time.
Everything.
It's not just it's not just space, it's time and space. And the dynamic of the main character.
The characters
being a kamikaze soldier
who couldn't kill himself.
Live.
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
Already made $27 million, just a side note.
So already doubled.
Already doubled. It's the first day in America that it's open.
Right.
So
yes,
studios are gonna look at less is more.
Yes.
Less has always been more.
Yes, and even look at the movie The Creator, which it was low budget compared to what it looked like, even though the movie, I have a lot of problems with it, but it looked great and grand. This movie looked so good. Everywhere we were at, we were like, this looks like just cinema. Like, it looks like professionals are doing it, and they're doing it right, and they're doing it cheaper.
And they're all foreign too. Like,
yeah,
it's very rare for Americans to watch a fully subtitled movie. Let's be real.
In the theaters,
yeah,
that came from a different country,
exactly,
and blows you away.
I don't
remember the last time.
I remember Inglourious Basterds, and that was just in and out.
Right.
I don't remember a fully foreign movie ever going to the theaters, ever.
This is all in Japanese, so yes, you do have to read the subtitles, which is fine with me.
But the actors deliver everything beautifully. Their faces were made for this movie.
I don't know how many times I got close to tearing up, or crying. I mean, I did tear up. The character's motivations, the main character was so freaking compelling. He was a kamikaze pilot who didn't want to kamikaze himself. And then got people killed in the process, and he keeps escaping death.
He didn't really get people killed in the process, but there is a guilt angle.
He was scared. 2 times he had opportunities
when Godzilla
to kill
was a
himself.
baby.
Right. In the beginning, they pretty much told him to go kill himself, right? Like, the 20 millimeter machine gun wouldn't have done anything, let's face it. But he didn't know that, so he held the guilt of those men dying on that island. And then his love interest that he held back trying to engage with. And the little kid that's not his, like all this juicy information.
The dynamic characters were the core of this movie.
Amazing.
And it gave me Peter Jackson vibes.
Yeah.
It really did. There was just no comedy though.
Right.
That was it. There was just no TV moment.
You giggled, but it wasn't like over the top TT Waikiki stupid ass fucking awkward ass humor.
The pressure was rarely relieved, and it was only relieved in like emotion.
Right.
And tears and fucking trauma.
Right.
Which is cinema, sorry.
Right.
I don't know. Like, you can be a comedy, just be a comedy. Don't pretend to be anything else.
Absolutely killed it. All the characters thrived in here, and you felt everything, all their motivations, and just all their arcs just came in beautifully. The music was amazing in here. I was getting like, I was like, when you said Peter Jackson moves, I was like, let's fucking go,
dude.
Man.
Like halfway, the first skirmish you have with Godzilla is Jaws style.
Right, it is.
It's literally Jaws. Right. It is. But it's way better. They put it in its mouth and they shoot it.
Well, that's a second encounter, but yes, technically. Well, at the very beginning, where it's like it was a little smaller.
Yeah. So second encounter.
The second encounter was so freaking
and that was
good.
Like really soon too.
Right.
That was
right.
It had to be before halfway. Had to be.
But I would like to even point out that if you take Godzilla out of this movie, you still get a really compelling freaking story in here, which is great. And then you throw Godzilla in there. And holy cow, is this a Godzilla that I personally haven't seen? Because we've only really seen the American.
How Godzilla's because he's kind of always been good.
More or less.
More or less. He's kind of been good.
In the 2001 that he was...
it was bad.
He was a monster.
He was probably the worst.
And here
one.
He was like diabolical. Like he was straight up
wanted
evil.
I wanted to kill it.
Right.
Like, I fucking love it. It was on fucking blow its head off.
And his heat beam was the coolest thing that I have seen in the theater, probably in a long time, if not ever. Like just seeing that when it would just go off like a nuke, and then it was so big that the implosion would pull things in. I was like, holy cow, you can feel
blast and then suck back in.
Yeah, the scale of it was amazing. And then the shot where Godzilla's looking at like the mushroom cloud, right? And then
almost like it's beautiful to him.
Yeah,
like
and it's just staring at it like, And then the character, then the camera starts panning out, and the character starts screaming at him while the dirty rain is falling.
So he was tinier.
He was an actual dinosaur sea creature, right?
And his power was to adapt and recreate, and get stronger.
He's got new abilities that I've never seen in here. Like he can regenerate.
Yeah, he can regenerate, which is great because then he can really fuck him up.
Right.
And then you can just go.
You're right.
And you're like,
exactly.
Fuck.
And the way that they fight him is just science. Like they're just throwing science at him. Yeah. So they're using
can't go boomy boom on him. But by the way, the Americans are put out of it because they're afraid of the Soviets more than the nuke breathing dragon taking over newly conquered Japan. I don't know.
Right.
Help out, or maybe I don't know. Try to triple nuke it. I feel like we would.
Well, I'd probably just make it fucking stronger. Like, you know what I also liked when it did its heat beam? It damaged itself. Did you notice that? Like, it shot at the boats, and then it was crisping. It was sizzling and shit. I was like, damn, this is gruesome. This is nasty. I love it. Yeah, no, they used the science where they used, was it Furon or something like that? Where it separated the salt, which made it sink all the way to the bottom.
Super fast, yeah.
Right.
Which he was about to explode again, and then it
the
literally
pressure
snuffed out the flame.
Yeah, I loved it. Amazing.
And he was actually, it seemed like he was incapacitated.
I think he like moved the cable, which means that he's still alive. So they wanted to push him up without the time to depressurize. Yeah. And I guess he was supposed to just, and just explode.
Which, by the way, setting up all the ships to tug them back up to the surface.
Right. There are some problems in here where like, okay, this came out of nowhere,
but it's a curveball. Like you throw it at the last second,
right?
And it works,
right?
And it fucking like there's flaws to it,
right?
And you shouldn't do it some ways, but you went for it and you did it.
And there was a part in here where you thought the plan was kaput, and you're
like,
you
thought
really?
It was over.
I was actually excited to see that.
That would be American cinema,
right?
That would be.
And
American
then they go
cinema.
to plan B, C, all the way to Z. And here they're like, no, we're still gonna go back to plan A. We're gonna put him
and
back.
They set it up too. They set it up to the point where they're like, "Don't worry, we're showing all of you this part in the movie now, so you can get it later." Because I don't know how
foreshadowing
most people feel, but I feel like I've just been getting railroaded by entertainment here, where they set up beautiful stories, things that you want to see happen.
They foreshadow,
but they don't. Games included, all of these things. They always foreshadow things, and they don't.
They fall short.
Fucking do it.
They fall short. So in here, it just everything was just masterfully done. The cinematography, great. Music, amazing. The characters blown out of the water.
The actors are fucking...
The best part of this, besides Godzilla, like, they compete with Godzilla, and this is the craziest, coolest Godzilla I've ever seen in my life.
Their story is, and it's so real and harsh and it's fucking real.
Like, you feel for all these characters in ways that I didn't even expect. And time passes through this movie, like years go by, post World War II, where Japan is recovering, and they're even saying, during the war, we didn't care about life. We treated life really cheaply. No ejections. The tanks were poorly built. The supply chains were terrible, and people starved to death. We just were taking advantage of people. And then you felt like the patriotism, pretty much, because the civilians...
It was the roots. It wasn't even the government of Japan. It was the roots.
It was veterans
retired
of
veterans.
World War II coming together and saying, we got these resources, put our brains together, no one else is going to help us because we lost the biggest war. The citizens in this movie were calling out Japan's government. Multiple times they were calling them out. They said they like to keep things under wraps. They want to take advantage of their people or whatever. Here, we're going to protect the future. We're fighting for something.
It was the Japanese Empire until that point.
So, yeah, it was just amazing. There was a lot of themes in here. A lot of themes. Being scared of death to not being scared of death.
Not being afraid to... It was not being afraid... It was scared of death, not scared of death, and not being afraid to live.
To live. That was the main character's arc, and it was amazingly shot. It was so great. Main character killed it. That guy killed it.
Dude, the little girl must make her cry like 5 times.
I know, she was adorable too.
Stop making her say mommy and dad and stuff.
And
stop it.
This was looks like VFX, directed and written by Takashi Yamazaki, and I'm pretty sure he's had some dealings with the OG Godzilla movies. I'm not 100% sure. This is like the 37th Godzilla movie altogether, and the ones I've seen, I'm not a huge Godzilla fan, but the ones I've seen, hands down, by far, best Godzilla monster movie I've ever seen in my life, man.
It's amazing. So real. It's like using real, how would we do it? We would use in the fucking one-on-one with the destroyer. How they held their own against Godzilla. They didn't go down.
Cool. I know.
They didn't go down. They were getting attacked by the fucking thing, and they're like... point blank on it, and he's like, fuck!
As Godzilla
and it got him!
Swam towards them.
Get out of here!
And I would absolutely love to see a sequel to this movie, and they did towards the end hint maybe a little something that...
Very, very odd hint.
Right. There's two things in here where you're like, what is going on now?
Excuse me?
Right, like they brought new things. Like we already mentioned that he could regenerate, and now we got these couple new things.
He's a freak of nature for sure.
Amazing, yeah. And it was scary, like seeing him not be a villain or not be a hero, like an anti-hero. It worked for me.
I know, like they were just trying too hard with the last one. Let's have him fight this one.
Yeah,
let's have him
he's
fight
here
this
as
one.
our protector.
Just monster porn, and then they threw in people just because they had to. Yeah, and it showed.
Yeah,
and it just got worse and worse.
You wouldn't care if the characters bit the dust, and here you're rooting for the main character.
This one, it throws you so many curveballs. You're going up, you're going down, you're spinning around and shit.
Right.
You think you lose her, and when he's screaming, when he actually finds, it's coming to his reality that she was gone. Which, let's be honest, she would have been gone. She wouldn't have been all patched up somewhere, mostly put together. she would be all over the place.
I would buy it if she had like a missing leg,
but
hands all fucked up.
But his reaction to what would logically happen to a human body with that velocity, I felt it all. Right. That was one of those moments, like where I almost,
And his acting in here was not sexy. It was ugly and it was tragic and it
tragically beautifully flawed, I would say.
Right. Like
real. Just real.
I don't look hot when I cry either.
It's real.
Especially when you're fucking stabbed in the heart like something and just devastates you.
Yeah.
You're ugly and everything. You're leaking. Beautifully done. Some of it did look a little rough, but oh my god, man, I was at the edge of my seat the whole movie. I was crying, I was cheering, I was gripping, I was
cheering at the Jaws moment where when he's shooting it in its mouth, because I knew that's the thing, man. You set this up, man. I saw it too, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna get all these mines out that the Americans put on there, and then we're gonna shoot them, detonate them, which happened. And that was his job. And he was a fighter, so he can understand the flow, the ebb and flow of things out of his control, and he adjusts to it. And then I was like, I absolutely know for a fact it's going to chase him, and they're gonna get it right in his mouth. What happened? I get the basic equation of, we're gonna set up a plan, because every movie's got a plan, and then it never ends up really that plan, but they adjust somewhere.
Something goes awry. Something happens at the very end of the plan.
But nowadays, it's not like that. It's not like it. Literally, like
at the beginning of the plan,
they just switch it completely to oh wait, we had a whole other plan in our pocket.
And then they always do this. It'll work theoretically, and it just leaves it like, okay, all right, well, I guess let's just go then. Here they made the plan. It failed. And then they did it. They tried it,
but they actually tried it. It almost worked. That's different from not even really snaring the trap. You know, not even actually getting it. The monster walks around it. That's usually how it goes. Is they go, no, I'm not going to fall for it, and then we got to fight it. A brand new fight that no one saw coming.
All around amazing. What would you give it?
100%.
100%, man. Yeah. I would love to see it again, honestly. Absolutely amazing. I can't praise this movie enough. Even if you're not a Godzilla fan, I feel like you would love it. Yes, you do have to read. You have to read the movie. That's probably what's going to make most people go, I don't want to read. But again, guys, if you haven't seen it, not even a Godzilla movie fan, you need to go see it. It's so good.
People will too, because it's building a pretty big.
I only saw
snowball.
I only saw the beginning, or one of the first few, the one trailer that came out a long time ago. I didn't even see the other trailer, so I knew nothing going into this.
I saw like maybe 15-second teaser,
and
I was like, yeah, okay, so the military fighting him, and I was like, it's an interesting, different take to it. Did I underestimate this movie?
Man,
I'll tell you what.
Me too, until I started watching reviews, and they're like, go see it, and I did. It was so amazing. I know I keep saying that, but it's one of the coolest movies. It's by far the best movie of the year, and this has been a crappy year for movies, but still, that being said, amazing.
And it's so simple too, because in the other movies we gotta have like 12 monsters and Kong.
They had to fight each other, which those are okay. I mean, that's cool and all, but sometimes less is more. Less budget, more. Less boom bang is more. You know, so
you're shitting away so much money.
Right.
It's really the actors.
Right. And they
should just be the actors, and then there's a monster somewhere. That we got to work around. That's kind of the best. Best formula. I don't know. But for me, it's great music too.
Oh my god, the music was getting me jacked. Whatever happened to the orchestral music?
What happened to the epic goosebumps?
Do it. Like, vocals is a good thing. We've done that with Star Wars. We did that with Lord of the Rings. Let's
Harry
go.
Potter.
It gets you jacked up. They had original music in here that just sound more revamped, and again, it got your blood pumping.
It's universal.
You know?
It's a universal movie. Anyone can watch it.
And everyone, you can just feel the enthusiasm and
The history too.
The history, yeah.
Just the history timeline aspect of it all was its own movie.
Because we know that the Japanese made this as a metaphor for the nuclear bombs, the atomic bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Yeah, and you can feel that in here too, where, you know, you got the war, you got the nuclear bomb. They didn't really go on the nuclear bomb thing that much.
You got the sympathy of the Japanese people in this movie that you didn't get in Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I know.
So maybe we can actually fuck off and stop owning the market and let people in from all over.
If we can't
Japanese,
do it...
I know, but that's their thing. I like it. And they actually make pretty fucking good movies. The Seven Samurai thing is the same basic formula and everything. Right. It's really good.
Right.
And bloody.
Right.
It's really good. You read, that's it. I actually have to look it up and maybe watch it again. But
right.
Let other people in and they'll...
If you guys can't do it, if America can't do it anymore,
with all this money,
right?
We're sitting amazing. On money, man. The pile is on fire, and we don't care.
This is why I love this movie, because it's a wake up call to American cinema.
Budgets are saying the technology is to the point where you can buy a room of computers,
right,
and make a decent fucking movie.
Right. I've seen fan movies that can look better than some $1 million
people who do it on their
movies,
own time and their own money,
who love the art and the craft, and they
really
take it seriously. It's not a job where all the producers say it has to have this, this, and that to bring in audiences and numbers. Turns out, if you make it good, the people will flock to what is good. They know what's good, not you. Give them what they want, and they'll come. It's that simple.
Yeah, you can't just say, I know what they want. And then when they don't like it, they go, they don't know what they want.
You can't relate to people.
So you win every time, and it's always everyone else's fault.
Exactly.
It's art. It's the art, stupid. It's been around a lot longer than you. We know how it works. We know how people react with certain things. The Odyssey's older than Jesus.
Right.
We know how to do it. Just go back to the roots. Seriously.
Seriously, though.
Go watch the movie and go buy it on DVD.
Oh, I'm buying this. Day one, I'm buying it. 100%, man. But I think we've said all that we could. Amazing. Again, go see it.
100% movie.
Yeah, that was our review for Godzilla -1. And we'll see you guys next one.